Hello, guys. Good evening, everyone. Let me just do a test here. See if the sound, if everything is working. So, okay. Okay, so everything seems to be working fine. Let me see here. Hi, Ellie. Okay, I'm glad you are listening. Thanks for your presence here. Thanks for the presence of everyone here. For those who doesn't know me, I'm Wanderley Massafelli. I help here Stephen, the spiritual side of Ireland. Stephen is not here tonight, so I'm going to be running the studies of the Spirit's book here. We're going to be on chapter 7, the return to corporeal life, okay, on question 330. And in here, we're going to be seeing several aspects which this chapter would cover, such as the prelude to the return, union of the soul and the body, abortion, moral and intellectual factors, bodily influences, mental disabilities, on childhood, earthly affinities and antipathies, and forgetfulness of the past. But we're not going to see everything, all the chapter here tonight for sure. But we're going to start on question 330. Hi, Patrocinio. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having you guys, for you guys to be here tonight. Thanks for the guys here from Ireland, from America, from Canada, from the UK, from the United States, from Kardec Radio. So we are very thankful that you guys are here. So here, hi, Misela, how you doing? So before we keep going, we're gonna do our initial prayer. So for those who feel comfortable, we would like to invite you guys to close your eyes, to take a deep breath. Let's try to calm down ourselves. Let's try to control our thoughts. Let's try to only to be here at the present moment, appreciating each second, each moment that life is giving to us right now, appreciating everything that we have, either the good or the bad, either the good or the bad, because we know that everything is for our progression, for our improvement, and we know that the good spirits are supporting us, are guiding us. But let's remember, we must open our hearts and our minds in order to feel this connection. So let's open our minds and our hearts for tonight's studies. Okay, guys, so nice to have you all here. So I have this version of the Spirit's book. I don't know if you guys have any different version. I think that's the most recent one, but there are many other versions. So if I'm reading here something that perhaps on your book is different, please forgive me, but that's a matter of the translation here, okay, of the book, of this edition here. So here on chapter 7, it starts in the first part, the prelude to the return. And in question 330, Kardec asks the spirits, do spirits know the time when they will reincarnate? So Kardec is asking the spiritual friends, once we are in the spiritual world, do we know when we are about to reincarnate? And the spirits, they reply, they can sense it like a blind man can feel the heat from the fire that it is approaching. They know they must once again don a physical body. So they know they must again use a physical body. Just as we know that we must die someday, but without knowing when it will happen. So the spirits are saying here to us um, that once we are in the spiritual world, and we're going to see in the other questions that depending on the level of knowledge and moral that we have, we can feel and sense this next reincarnation that is about to come, more or less. That will depend on the advancement of the spirits. But the spirits are going to be saying that throughout this chapter. So we sense, like he says here, like a man senses the fire that he's getting close. So he knows there is something. As, for example, in many cases here that once were on Earth, we hear people saying that they were feeling that they're about to die. We hear this kind of cases. So the spirit knows more or less. But of course, there is a preparation for that, and we're gonna see here, okay? But he knows that someday he's gonna have to use a physical body again. That's for sure. And the spirit will explain a bit more. Okay, so that was question 330. And also, guys, because here we are not reading the gospel according to Spiritism, that we can put is a bit more technical because it's replies and answers. If you guys have any questions, if you guys didn't understand something which I said, perhaps my accent or something like this, please, guys, write in the comments box. Okay, if you guys also have any opinion or question about the topic that we are having here today, please feel free to send that to us. So, in the same question, in the second part, the spirits ask, is reincarnation therefore a requirement of a spirit as death is a requirement for corporeal life? And the spirit says, it certainly is. So basically, for spirits, okay, when I mean spirits, I mean all the spirits in the universe. Of course, spirits in the universe, there are some who are in a different level, in a different stage, and they are in a different, they incarnate in a different place, in a different planet. But all the spirits, they must reincarnate in order to progress. That is a requirement of the spiritual life. Like any life being, the requirement, the biggest law is death for all living being. So yes, it's a requirement of the spirit. But here, Kardec says for us to have a look at question 166, which is in chapter 4, which is related to plurality of the existence. And here in question 166, it's so nice because Kardec asks, how can a soul that is not reached perfection during a corporeal life finalize the process of purification? So how can we, here let's say we are living 100 years, okay? We are living in any place for 100 years. But we haven't reached our level of perfection. We haven't reached our level of purification. How can that being reach that purification? Sorry, guys, purification. Sorry. So how can we reach this purification? By undergoing to a many to many existence, as many as we need. So we must undergo to a new existence. So you see here in chapter 4, it has some connection to this part, which is the return of the corporeal life. So there is no chance, what the spirits are saying to us, there is no chance of us spirits to progress if if we don't reincarnate, if we don't reincarnate as many times as we need. That's a universal law which works for spirits here related to Earth, as it also related to spirits who are thousands of light years away from us. So that's a requirement for all the spirits in the universe. Okay, of course, depending on the level of the spirit of knowledge and morality, that spirit may reincarnate less, and there will be a stage that that spirit will not reincarnate in a physical body anymore. But that's for the following questions. That's for next week, perhaps. So let's see what the spirits they say here. Hi, Lou. Good evening. Nice to have you here also. And then in question 331, the spirits Kardec asks the spirits, do all spirits worry about their reincarnations? So basically, do all spirits care about their next reincarnation? And the spirits are very honest here, guys. I think even too much. The spirits they say, there are those who never give it a thought or do not even understand it. It all depends on their degree of advancement. For some, The uncertainty about their future life is a punishment. So you see how what the spirits they say. Some spirits in this process of reincarnation, they don't even care. They don't give a thought about this, about it, or how it works and what is that for. It's like we have here on earth. Some people, let's say, they know they must do certain things. They know that there are certain things which they do, certain habits or vices which they practice that may harm them, but they don't care. They just do it. So there are times on earth and the spiritual world that we know that we must do something or we know that we must not do something, but we don't care. We don't give a thought, like the spirit says here. We don't care to about to understand. We just simply keep going. But as it says here, everything would depend on the degree of advancement of the spirit. So there are some spirits who are more morally and advanced and has more knowledge that they start to wonder, they start to question. It's like us human beings. Let's say a doctor says to you, uh, I don't know, you should do some level of exercise, or you should not smoke or whatever. We are not judging guys here who likes exercise or who smokes, just using some examples, because doctors, they always talk about this. Uh, some people, they would follow, some people, they don't care. Some people, they ask the doctor, why? Some people, they don't care at all. So in the spiritual world, it's the same. Once the spirit is about to reincarnate, once he starts to live certain, to reach certain level of knowledge, he starts to wonder, why do I have to reincarnate? Why do I have to reincarnate on earth? Or things like this. Not that all the spirits have to reincarnate on earth. Okay, guys, let's leave it quite clear. If we go back in the spiritual, in the gospel according to spiritism, we have the I think chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken, don't remember. But in the gospel according to spiritism, we have the plurality of the worlds. So spirits, they're incarnating many different worlds around the universe, not only on earth. But we are talking about us spirits who have some relation with earth. Okay, I hope that makes sense, guys. And here the spirits asks in the following question, 332: can spirit hasten or delay the moment of their incarnation? So basically, they are saying, can someone, the spiritual world, can a spirit in the spiritual world delay their reincarnation? Let's say they say, no, I'm not going to reincarnate this time. Let's leave for tomorrow and keep going like this forever, basically. And what the spirits they reply to Kardec, they may hasten by they may hasten it by means of a strong desire. They may also delay if they recoil from the upcoming trial, since among spirits there are those who are cowardly and indifferent. So let's try to explain a little bit here what they are saying. So some spirits, because with a strong desire, with their free will, because free will is something that we have on earth and also in the spiritual world. So if the spirit in the spiritual world says, I don't want to reincarnate, I don't want to do this, I don't want to pass through this trial and expiation, they have certain levels of choice. Why I mean what I mean by certain levels? Certain spirits, they have this kind of advancement where they say, I don't want, or even in the lower zone, in the lower spirits, they can try to say, I don't want this, please don't let me do it. So they can keep saying that to their mentor or to the ones who work in their incarnatory process, but they cannot delay that forever. And why they do that? Like we have here on Earth. Let's say I'm gonna be having my driving test in next week. But let's say if I did my 12 classes here that we have in Ireland, which are obligatory to do the driving test. If let's say I say, oh, no, I'm not gonna do my driving test this month. I don't feel prepared. Then comes next month. Not this month also. I don't feel prepared. And imagine if I keep going like this. I can do it, but there will be a price. There will be a consequence. So, and what's the consequence in the case of a driving license, for example? You cannot renew your driving license for over 2 years in Ireland. So, using this example, we see here maybe I'm choosing to delay to take my driving test because I'm afraid. And as they say here, there are spirits who are cowards and they're indifferent. So there are spirits who are afraid and they don't care about their trials, about the new existences. So they know that they must pass through that trial. They know that they must pass through that experience in that corporeal life, but they say no, not in the next reincarnation. Let's live for tomorrow, and they keep postponing it. And remember, free will is a law in the entire universe, and also it's a law in the spiritual world. So maybe someone can ask me, Wanderley, if free will is a law, and if the spirit can choose, they can choose forever. Not exactly. They can choose for a while, not forever. Why? Because no one can stop the progress, and we see that in the March of Progress in the Spirit's book also. But then the spirits explain to us that each time that we postpone our next reincarnation, as they say here, we're gonna be suffering the consequences. We're gonna be suffering like, as he says here, they will suffer for doing it, like who refuses to take the medicine to cure him. So imagine you are sick, you must take your syrup, you may take your tablet, whatever, and you say, no, I don't like the taste, I don't want to take it. You're going to be coughing even more. Everything, you're going to get sicker and sicker. So you can choose to don't take your syrup, to take your meds, your tablets, but you may be sick for longer, and that can even kill you in certain cases. So we have the free will to choose, but each free will bring to us the consequence. Okay? And Kardec asks in the question 333, if a spirit felt quite happy with an average or simple passable situation among other discarnated spirits in between corporeal existence and had no ambition to advance at all. Could he protract such state of affairs forever? So basically, they are saying, let's say, these spirits, they are there all together in the spiritual world. They are all more or less average spirits, and they must to advance. But they say, I don't want this time. As we were saying, I don't want. Kardec is asking basically if this spirit, who is not really the most suffering spirit, but is not the most advancement spirit, could stay in that stage again forever. And the spirits explain no. We have a beautiful case in the book of Renunciation by the Spirit of Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, that there is a spirit called Alcione. And Alcione was on earth, and that was in the time of Emmanuel, about 2,000 years ago. Some they say that Alcione was related to Emmanuel in some reincarnation. We're not going into that. But in that book, Emmanuel explains that many spirits who were reincarnating with Alcione on earth, they were average spirits, like her. Maybe she was a little bit more advanced, we can put it this way, but they were there more or less in the same level. In herself, inside her spirit, she decided to go through, to improve, to be a good person. She decided to face the trials which life was giving to her without fear, without mangling around. She was really facing this situation and challenging herself in order to improve. And she was believing that whatever was happening with her was for a better reason. While the other spirits who were reincarnated with her, they start to all the time to question and life, to say that life wasn't fair. They didn't care for them to be having a good life on earth, and an average spiritual life was okay. So time passed. She explains to us in the Emmanuel explains to us in the book, and Alcione raised to a different level. She became a spirit who was such an evolved spirit who didn't have to reincarnate on earth anymore, while her friends, her spiritual family, okay, had to reincarnate many times on earth, and all the incarnations which they were having were difficult reincarnations. So all the spirits, they were more or less in the same level, but she decided to keep going. She decided to go and to walk the next mile in order to improve herself. while the others, they are like these spirits that we are having here. They are average spirits. They're among each other. They don't want to do much. They just want to stay there. They don't want to do too much work. They are just okay. But time passed, and time proved that she was right. And then they lost time. So as it says here, the spirits, they cannot stay in that state indefinitely. Advancement is a necessity, and all the spirits must realize it sooner or later. They all must advance. It's their destiny. You see, that's why we cannot say that someone will be, doing that, this and that forever. That spirit, we realize, like the spirits who are related to Alcione, that what they are doing is wrong. Once we think, for example, about someone, let's say a criminal or someone that we believe is not really doing the best actions or is harming the others, and we say, that person has no way to improve. That person will be like that forever. No, maybe in our eyes, but like the spirits they say here, the spirits must advance and must advance is their destiny. So our destiny on earth, what's our destiny on earth? Is to advance, is to progress, is to all to become pure spirits. That's why in the Gospels we have a passage when Jesus says to the apostles, "You can do everything I can, and even more." When Jesus says that to the apostles, they are saying, "You do not know it, you do not know yourself yet. You do not know your power. You do not know that you must progress. But what do you need? Time." So all spirits, they need time in order to progress. But what's the difference between spirits who are a bit wiser and spirits who are very reluctant? That a spirit who is a bit wiser, like Alcione, who accepts their destiny, who tries their best on earth and in the spiritual world, they progress faster. What's the difference between other spirit who is lazy, who doesn't care, like it said here in one of the replies, the spirits who don't even give a thought about the reincarnatory process, about life overall. They're going to progress? Of course, it says here, all spirits must progress, but it's gonna take longer. And what does that mean? They're gonna suffer more. Let me take again the example of Alcione. Alcione, because she was such an evolved spirit, the spirits related to her, they couldn't reach her in the spiritual world. They couldn't go to the same place like she was. Why? Because her vibration was much higher, and their vibration was much lower. What made their vibration higher and lower? God decided this. It said, "Oh, Alcione, you're gonna be a high evolved spirit. You're gonna be an angel." No, she decided to do that. She took her actions and she tried her best in order to improve. Okay, so we are going to evolve. We are going to progress, but the time, the duration of our progress, the the consistency of it depends on us. The speed of it depends on us. Okay, guys, so is everyone okay? If you guys have any questions, guys, please stop me at any time. Okay, and we keep going from there. Okay, if you guys have any comments also. Then in the question 334, Kardec asks the spirits, is the union of a soul with a particular body predestinated, or it's only at the last moment that choice is made? So basically, so will the spirit reincarnate? Yes. But when will that spirit know which body he's going to be living in? It's gonna be in the last second, just by accident, or it's something which is well planned beforehand. And we know on the universe there are no accidents. In the universe, each thing that we sometimes think it's an accident is an action of a bigger being, in this case God or high evolved spirits. So there are no accidents. And then Louise explains to us quite beautifully, I forgot which book, I forgot, guys, sorry, But how the reincarnatory process is complex and it's beautiful. So André Luiz explained to us that once we are going to reincarnate on a physical body, there are many, many spirits who are preparing that reincarnation. They are choosing the best physical body for that spirit. What do you mean by the best physical body by that for that spirit? Does that mean that he won't have any suffering? Does that mean that that physical body will be perfect? Not really, not exactly. What I mean by the best perfect for the best spirit is the best physical body which will deal with the necessities of progression of that spirit. And the Kardec will say that here now. So, what is it? So, I'm going to read the question again. Question 335. Do spirits have the choice of the body they will take or the choice? No, sorry. Sorry, guys. Question 334. Is the union of a soul with a particular body predestinated, or it's only in the last moment that the choice is made? And the reply from the spirits is the spirits is always designated beforehand. When chosen in trials, they used to endure. Spirits ask you to reincarnate. God, who sees and knows everything, sees and knows in advance which soul in particular will be united with a given body. So you see, God knows everything, and God, as André Luiz explained to us, has these spirits, these high evolved spirits, who are helping. Not that God needs help, but these spirits are doing this work in order to progress, in order to serve. Like Jesus said to us, whoever wants to be great in the kingdom of God is the one who wants to serve the most. So those, not that God needs our help, but these spirits, they are helping there in this reincarnatory process in order to fit to match the best body and the best spirit for that given situation. Okay, so God knows everything, but everything is planned beforehand by these spirits. And in question 335, this Kardec asks, do spirits have the choice of the body they will take, or do they only choose the kind of life that will serve them as a trial? So Kardec is asking something quite simple. Me, Wanderley, I'm going to reincarnate in Brazil. I'm going to reincarnate in Ireland or in America. Doesn't matter where or when. Do I have the choice to choose my physical body 100%, or just the kind of trial which I must go through? And as we saw before, the spirits were explaining that these choices, all the choices that we are talking about, the spiritual world, depends on the advancement of the intelligence of the spirit and of their moral levels. Okay, so if the spirit knows more and is more morally advanced, he can choose more. Okay, and what the spirits they say. Let me just get here. A spirit may also choose a body because of the imperfections. No, sorry. A spirit may also choose a body because of the imperfections of that body. Their trials, they are trials which will help in the advancement of that spirit. So a spirit also can choose the body, of course, depending on the level, but depending on the imperfections which that body will carry, they will be part of their trials. Which scenario can we imagine here? Someone who comes with a physical problem or a mental problem. So maybe that spirit decided to choose that body. So maybe once we see someone who has a physical body, we ask for that. And Emmanuel explains to us, and André Luiz also, in many books, that most of the people who are born with physical body or mental, so with physical problems in their body or mental problems, most of them, not all, because as we said, spirits they cannot choose all the time. It depends on their level. Even if they cannot choose, they are aware that that's gonna be best for them. So once we see someone with an issue, Do not say that to yourself, oh, poor person, he was born without one leg or he was born blind. We have to understand that maybe that trial, that physical body issue that spirit is facing is part of their trials. So it's not like okay, I'm just gonna be born without one leg for no reason. No, if someone is born with no leg, there is a reason. If someone is born with a mental problem, there is a reason, and that reason is part of the trials of the spirits. So I'm gonna read here again, okay? A spirit may also choose a body because of the imperfections. They may serve as a trials to them in order to their advancement. If it succeeds and overcome the obstacles placed on its path. So these trials they serve to help the spirit to pass the trials that they must undergo, and if they succeed, they're gonna be, let's say, we can call victorious. They're gonna win because they were placed in a difficult situation and they were having the issues which they asked before incarnation, and they were able to face it. This choice is not always made by the spirit, but the spirit has sometimes the choice to ask. So a lot of times the spirit is not the one who's going to be asking for having this difficult, because the spirit, he may not have this awareness like we mentioned in the beginning. Maybe he's a kind of spirit who doesn't have who didn't give even a second, even a thought about to think about the next reincarnation. So in that case, that physical imperfection or that mental issue will be given by the superior spirit in order to serve as a trial to that spirit. Okay, so that in that situation, that will help the spirit to overcome, to improve their existence, even if here, once we don't know anything about reincarnation, what do we think? Poor person, poor guy. Of course, we must feel some sympathy to those people. Of course, we feel. I have people in my family who have mental disabilities and physical disabilities, and I was always wondering why do that person do that. Why those people they have these issues? And the only place which I could find some kind of answer to make my heart a bit less what's the word, to calm down myself a little bit is the spirit's book and the works of Kardec in general, of course united with the gospel of Jesus for sure, because they are all connected with each other. But the spirit's book, it does not touch us in our hearts per se, but also touches in our brain because it gives to us some explanation. So this is the only book which gave me explanations for certain things. So keep going here, guys. Let me just have here. Hi, Linda. I didn't say hi to you. Hi to have you here. Um, and here in the same question, 335, Kardec asks the spirits, can spirits refuse to enter the chosen body at the last moment? So basically they are saying to us, hi, Lidiane. Nice to have you here. So basically, Kardec is asking, let's say, I planned my next reincarnation. I spoke with my mentors. We decided that the best physical body for me to reincarnate is body B, body A, whatever. Okay, that's the best body for me. Imagine once we are starting this process of reincarnation, can a spirit refuse? And what the spirits they say? If they refuse it, they will suffer much more than the one who had not undertake a new trial in the first place. So the spirits are saying to us, yes, the spirit has free will, remember. So even the last minute before its reincarnation, he can say, no, I don't want to do it. Maybe he's afraid, maybe he doesn't accept the family that he's going to be incarnating. And that's why in this chapter here, we're not going to be talking about, we're going to be talking today but it talks a little bit about abortions and about natural abortions and explains a little bit to us. And once you think about a natural abortion, we're not affirming here, okay? We're not saying that everything A plus A is this, 1 plus 1 is 2. We're not saying this, but we can say that in certain cases, yes, it may be that a spirit who is born without life, they're born dead, basically, or that their abortion naturally occurred. We could say that could be a case similar to this, that the spirit decided in the last minute, I don't want to go. He's afraid of taking the next corporeal life. Okay, and that's what the spirits they say here. It would be much better if he didn't plan at all in the first place. Because if he decided to refuse the last minute, he's gonna suffer even more the consequences. Okay? So remember, we have free will, but each free will that we take, each action that we take, will bring to us the consequences of it. Then he says here in question 336, could an unborn baby about to be delivered not have a spirit willing to reincarnate on it? So, could an unborn baby, okay, imagine a baby who is about to be born, still in the mom's womb, uh, sorry, who is about to be delivered, not have a spirit to reincarnate? So, that could, let's imagine if that could happen. Remember, the reincarnatory process starts much longer before Andrea Luiz explains to us the act of giving birth to a baby. It happens even before the 9 months. Okay, so everything is planned well. So I don't think we could say that that physical body, that physical baby would be born, will have no spirit to reincarnate. But let's see what the spirit says to us. God would provide for it. When a child is to be born alive, the body is always predestined to have a soul. Nothing is created without design. So you see, that's a very important. So God would provide for that physical body a spirit beforehand, as we saw here. But in this case, he mentions when a child is to be born alive. Okay, I'm not saying that the spirits are saying this, but what seems to me is like this. In certain cases where there is only the physical body in the woman's womb, that spirit is dead already, that spirit, that physical, that baby may not have a spirit predestinated to it, because maybe it was generated in the act of sex, but after maybe the baby passed away inside of the woman, so that spirit has no more connection with that baby. Does that make sense? That's why I believe Kardec says here, when a child is to be born alive. So if a child is to be born alive, the spirit is predestinated to be born in that physical body. If a child will be born dead, or if the child passed away in the woman's womb, maybe there is no spirit related to that physical body. I hope that makes sense, guys. As it says here, nothing's created without a design. So nothing's created without planning. Okay? Um, okay, guys, we could keep going on question 337, but I believe this chapter here is a quite a complex chapter, because it brings to us a lot of particular knowledge, and sometimes, especially once we will start talking about abortion here, we may have certain feelings. Some people they are against, some people are pro. And here in the Spirit's book, we're gonna be giving an explanation from the spirits. Okay, that's why we cannot say I don't like abortion, or I agree, I don't agree. Let's not do it. Each one of us, we have our free will. Each person has their own reasons, so we are not here to judge anyone. Why I'm saying this? Because one day Divaldo Franco was asked if abortion was correct or not. And Divaldo always says we shouldn't judge. We can explain to them what Spiritism explains to us and what are the consequences of such acts. But what can you say to a woman who did that already? What can you say to a woman who was raped, perhaps, or who was in a difficult situation? We shouldn't judge. This book, the works of Allan Kardec and the Gospel of Jesus, is not for here to judge. We are here to explain. And if for that person that makes sense, good. If doesn't, okay. Remember, we all have free will to do everything we wanted to do or to believe in everything we want to believe. That's why here, I believe it's a really nice part because we're gonna see here in the following weeks that Kardec explains about mental disabilities, about body physical issues also. He explains to us about abortion. So everything is related to the process of reincarnation because no one would reincarnate with having any kind of physical or mental issue with no reason. Imagine if you are God, the creator of the universe. Then I say to you, Wanderley, you're gonna be born with a mental problem. Bling. Stephen, you're gonna be born with a physical problem. Bling. And whatever else, who else, you guys gonna be perfect. No problem. And then if I was myself there in front of God and Stephen, I think we would ask, sorry, but why? Just because I want. There is no such thing for the high evolved experience and for God. Everything has a reason. And if God is good, and if God is perfect, and if He knows everything, that reason, which perhaps I don't know, I don't comprehend yet, must be a good reason. Because God, the creator of the universe, wouldn't give a problem to someone without any reason, without any, not only reason, but without any meaning of improvement for that spirit, without any sort of lesson to be learned. So I believe this chapter talks a lot about this. On next week, we're going to be studying question 337. So I'm just going to be doing some announcements here. And if you guys have any questions, guys, please, by all means, you guys can ask us here. So here, da-da-da. So for those who doesn't know, we have our studies group every Wednesday, okay? And this studies group is done via Zoom. So if you guys want to participate, you guys must send an email to us to at Spiritism Island, no, to Spiritism Island at gmail.com, and someone will reply to you with the Zoom link. So our studies of the Spirit's book is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Everyone is more than welcome. Everything is done in English. Everyone, you don't need to have any spiritist background. If you don't speak English very well, you still can participate and at least to be listening the comments there. So everyone is more than welcome, basically. Okay. Also, guys, for those who doesn't know, we have our virtual healing also, which is done every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. right after we finish our speeches here on Tuesday, quarter to 7, sometimes 10 past 7. No, quarter, not to 7, quarter past 7, quarter past 8, sorry, or 10 past 8. And the virtual healing we will start on our YouTube channel straight away at 8:30 p.m. There is no need to send an email, so you just have to go to our YouTube channel, 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday, and the sections, the healing will be there. Okay. What else we have here? Say, yeah, that's it, guys. That's it for today. So I hope that was good. I hope that was clear. And if you guys don't have any questions or anything to say, we're gonna be closing tonight. So thank you very much for all for being here with us tonight. We hope that was good and fruitful to everyone who is watching us. I hope to you see you guys on Sunday. Yes, also I forgot to mention for those who doesn't know or who are new here to the channel and who are new here with us, please don't miss our lives, who are every Tuesday and Thursday at a 7:15 Dublin time. Okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays 7:15, and every Sunday 11:15 a.m. Okay, so everyone is more than welcome to participate also. And then, so guys, I'm gonna be inviting everyone, of course, if you guys feel comfortable, to close our eyes, to take a deep breath. Let's thank God for the opportunity to be here, to be studying the works of Allan Kardec and the gospel of our Master Jesus. Let's be thankful for this opportunity which the Spirit Society of Ireland has brought to us. Also, let's thank the good spirits for them who are guiding and supporting us in Ireland for over 10 years, trying to spread Spiritism in English to each and everyone who wants to learn about this philosophy, which perhaps for some brings some sense of the difficult world that we are living in. For others, brings some explanations about the most difficult questions. And also, for some, it may bring some peace and console to our hearts. And that's the intention of Spiritism, to bring console to us, to bring knowledge to our minds, to make our spirits to progress, to support each one of us in order to understand why we suffer, why we are here, why our existence takes place here on earth, why do we live. So let's be thankful and let's thank Allan Kardec, this great spirit who helped with the direct help of the good spirits and Jesus to bring this knowledge to us. Thank God, and so be it. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks Linda. Thanks Ligiani. I'm glad you guys like. So guys, see you next time. I hope you all have a nice weekend. Here in Dublin, sometimes we have some good days, some good weather. Now, even with the summer, we're still having plenty of raining, but let's enjoy anyway. Okay, bye guys. Have a good night.